My name is Charles Mutinda. I am the acting head, Civil Litigation Department. It is a department within the Office of the Attorney General and Department of Justice. The department does court matters for the government. The Department of Civil Litigation is one of the key departments within the Office of the Attorney General and Department of Justice. This is because the mandate of the Attorney General, as per the Constitution, is to, among others, represent the national government in court matters. So it's a constitutional mandate. The mandate is further broken down by the Office of the Attorney General Act, which now means that this is the department that represents or enables the government in representation in court matters. And you know, court matters are everywhere. We have persons suing the government. We have the government suing. And this is the department that participates in that process. We have success points. And as I indicated, success in court cases is interpreted. I can interpret it in three ways. One is full success, where you dismiss the case in its entirety. The next one is reducing the amounts that are being sought in court. And the third one is in other cases where we are not dealing with money claims. Like we have cases where constitutional cases where people want to, or citizens want to stop certain government projects. They want to stop certain government policies and such. So those are also cases that we defend successfully. In terms of the money cases, in 2018-2019, that was in the financial year 2018-2019, we managed to defend the case of Nathan Tirop, which was an 8.5 billion claim, and we defended it successfully when we had moved to the Court of Appeal ourselves. So the case was dismissed. It was a claim for 8.5 billion, inclusive of the costs, inclusive of interest. Of course, the amount would be higher, and we defended that successfully. In the same year, we defended the claim for Hobbit Chemicals, 6 billion claim. Again, at the Court of Appeal, the claim was dismissed. And of course, when we talk about these claims, they are inclusive of interest. And you know the way interest in court cases is computed. Sometimes it's computed from the date of the High Court judgment, and other times from the date of when the case was filed. So the interest component is not even computed. We are talking about 6 billion, but the interest component is not computed. The costs are also not computed. So these are major successes. The claim for the MCAs, when they were saying their term was cut short in the previous elections. So that claim, it was a constitutional claim. Nothing money tangible, no claim for money. But of course, the orders that were being sought from the courts would have translated into money being paid to the MCAs. That is assuming if the court agreed that their term was reduced, meaning that they lost their allowances. So that case, we defended it successfully at the Court of Appeal. We did file documents from the National Treasury, which would show that that claim by itself would have amounted to almost 8 billion in a year. If those orders were to be allowed, it would translate into 8 billion in a year. These are claims that we have successfully defended. And I'm talking about the big ones. My vision for this department is to be almost everywhere. where there is a high court. So I'm talking about decentralization, and it's something that we are already working on with our principals and the Chief Administrative Secretary of this office. We are currently trying to move the department to Machakos. We are trying to move the department to Narok. We are trying to move the department to Kericho. We are trying to move the department to Kitale. When we do that, what we are looking at is as a situation where we have councils who have work but not too overloaded with so much work. And when they are not too overloaded, then it means they are able to concentrate on the research, on the preparation of documents and preparation before going to court, meaning that you expect more quality documents and a representation from those councils. My vision again is to have more staff, and this is something we have been, we thank the current administration, they have really taken it up. Recently we had a recruitment of councils, and we were allocated quite a number, and we still expect that we'll continue getting more numbers. The same reason that ultimately we need a council to be able to prepare, because councils even out there, they have more time in terms of preparation, and court work or success in court cases, it depends on the amount of preparation that you have done, while it still depends on the facts that you have and the documentation that you already have. There is still a component of the preparation itself, so that you can't divorce those requirements. Yeah. Individuals do sue government. Actually, most of the cases that we have here are by individuals who have sued the government. Any citizen, and government is treated more like another citizen, who, if a citizen has been injured by the government, he has every right to sue. This is in cases of, if I can talk about the kind of cases that we deal with. Some of them is the normal road traffic cases. A government vehicle has knocked somebody, caused them fractures, caused them fatal injuries. Those people can sue. Those who have been or considered to have been wrongly prosecuted or even arrested by the police, they can sue. Those who have been assaulted by the police or another person who is executing government mandate, like chiefs and such, they can sue. Persons who have not been paid their dues, either arising from contracts, persons who consider that the government has breached contracts, and or who consider that they have been unlawfully terminated, violation of labor rights, violation of rights themselves now under the Constitution. Those people keep on suing the government, and those are the cases that we defend. We also do sue on behalf of the government, especially where government vehicles have been involved, or government property has been government has suffered losses as a result of actions of other persons. We also do sue, especially where persons, like in development projects, where somebody has, is refusing with the land or such. We sometimes get instructions to move the court for certain orders that would facilitate government processes. Litigation is the act, is a legal terminology, but all it refers is the court processes whereby you have somebody suing another one. So that is what it means. Our litigation counsel has quite some work really to do, for the reason that our courts usually start at 9 a.m. So either you are prepared beforehand. There are counsels here who have more than 200 files, partly because they've also been here for some time, but also because the workload in terms of court cases against the government has been increasing. With the advent of the Constitution 2010, it heralded quite numerous court cases, what we call litigation. So many people really have been filing cases against the government. Currently, as a department, we did our checks just the other day. We had almost 40,000 cases. 20,000 almost active. Active as in these ones are going to court on a daily basis. Others are not very active. And remember, when our numbers, we are not that many. And in terms of growth, court filings in every year, as a department, we receive almost 2,300 cases every year, new cases. Remember, a case does not end within a year. Cases take, they have a lifespan. So those cases will come and join others which have been there, join others that have been there. So that explains. The fact that, of course, some of them don't move that fast, that explains how we are able to manage. But there are sections that cases move very fast, like in the constitutional division, like in judicial review. Cases move very fast. You go to court today, next week you're being told to file your papers. Then within a month, the case has progressed so far. There now you find that those counsels are really have to be very fast in doing their paperwork, in requesting for instructions, in filings, and be prompt to attend court if and when they are called upon. So we have the specialized court section. The section deals with the specialized courts under the Constitution. When you look at Article 162 of the Constitution, you have the specialized courts, which are not the High Court, but they are within the rank of the High Court. And these courts are the employment and the labor and employment courts, and the land and environment. So any cases that are filed within those two courts, they are handled within the specialized courts section. As a department, we also do matters before the international tribunals, one of the international courts and tribunals. One of the courts that we frequently appear before is the East African Court of Justice at Arusha. Currently, we are appearing through virtual court sessions, but when before COVID, we used to travel to Arusha. The cases at Arusha, mainly they are filed by persons aggrieved by the actions of the countries within the community, that's the East African community. There's a provision under Article 30 of the treaty that allows citizens who are aggrieved by decisions, actions of member states to file cases before the court, that's the East African Court of Justice. We ask that they give us other supporting documents, including certificates of incorporation for the law firms of the lawyers that we are paying. That is if we are paying lawyers. If we are paying individuals, we also ask for their identity cards, and such. So there is a raft of documents which we require. And these documents, we have condensed them into the policy on compensation. And that policy on compensation captures the amount of the kind of documentation that we request in the different circumstances where we are settling. Many times we pay lawyers. Other times the lawyers will tell us, no, you pay my client directly. And when we are told that, we comply with that direction.